Tired of your arms feeling like jelly after kneading dough only to end up with dense, flat bread? Today, we're changing your baking game forever. In this video, I have put 7 of the most talked about stand mixers on the market to the ultimate rigorous dough test to see which ones actually deliver on their promises and which ones fall flat. Make sure you stick around until number 1 because the winning machine completely blew my expectations out of the water and might just be the absolute last mixer you ever need to buy. 7. VIVOHOME VH1566CA RE. When I first unboxed this unit, the bright color and tilt-head design certainly caught my eye, looking quite stylish on the countertop. It promises a lot of versatility with multiple attachments and a generously sized bowl meant to handle family-sized baking projects. For basic tasks like whipping egg whites or mixing a simple loose cake batter, this machine gets the job done without too much fuss. However, when we transition into the realm of bread making, the experience begins to shift dramatically. I decided to put it to the test with a standard double batch of white sandwich bread dough, something a dedicated baker would make weekly. Almost immediately after adding the flour, the motor's tone changed from a smooth hum to a strained, high-pitched whine. You can audibly hear the machine struggling to maintain its speed settings as the dough becomes cohesive. While it boasts a multi-speed dial, toggling through the higher speeds while under a heavy load felt risky, as if the internal gears were grinding against the sheer density of the dough. The build quality also leaves a lot to be desired when you are relying on it for heavy-duty tasks. The casing is predominantly lightweight plastic, which severely compromises its stability. As the dough hook engaged with the stiff bread dough, the entire mixer began to violently shake and actually started walking across my kitchen counter. I had to physically stand there and hold the machine in place with both hands to prevent it from vibrating right off the edge, which completely defeats the purpose of hands-free stand mixing. 6. CKEMU SM-50BC. Out of the box, it presents a sleek, modern aesthetic with a large stainless steel bowl that suggests it can handle massive quantities of ingredients. The manufacturer claims a high wattage output, which theoretically should translate to excellent kneading power. Unfortunately, real-world testing tells a very different and much more disappointing story. I subjected the CKEMU to a tough test, a heavy, low-hydration whole wheat dough. Right from the start, the noise level was absolutely staggering. While all mixers produce some sound, the mechanical screeching coming from this motor when it encountered the stiff dough was genuinely unpleasant, making it impossible to hold a conversation or listen to music while baking. It sounded less like a kitchen appliance and more like industrial machinery in desperate need of lubrication. Beyond the noise, the most alarming issue was the motor's tendency to overheat at an alarming rate. After just 4 minutes of kneading the whole wheat dough, the casing of the mixer became uncomfortably hot to the touch, and I could faintly smell the distinct odor of an overworked motor. I was forced to power it down and let it rest for 15 minutes before resuming. For bread recipes that require 10 to 15 minutes of continuous kneading, this thermal throttling is a massive roadblock, ruining the efficiency of your baking schedule. The physical design also revealed significant flaws during the heavy load test. While the bowl is nice and spacious, the base locking mechanism that secures the bowl to the mixer feels incredibly flimsy. As the dough hook slammed the heavy ball of dough against the sides, the bowl rattled violently in its base, giving the impression that it might break loose at any moment. 5. VIVOHOME VH291RE. The VH291 represents a highly noticeable and welcome step up in quality and performance from its sibling. This model immediately feels slightly more robust when you take it out of the packaging. It features a generous 6-quart capacity, which is a fantastic sweet spot for home bakers who want to make a couple of loaves of bread at once without overflowing the bowl. When I tested this machine with my go-to recipe for soft, fluffy dinner rolls, I was pleasantly surprised by how smoothly it operated. The motor handled the enriched dough, which includes milk and butter, with a steady and reliable cadence. Unlike the previous models on this list, it didn't sound like it was dying when the dough came together. It powered through the sticky phase and developed a beautifully smooth and elastic dough without requiring me to babysit it constantly. One of the standout features of this specific model is its highly effective planetary mixing action. The dough hook reaches much closer to the sides and bottom of the bowl than I anticipated for a mixer in this class. This means that all the flour is incorporated evenly and quickly, leaving no dry, unmixed pockets at the very bottom. I rarely had to reach for my spatula to scrape the sides, which made the whole experience feel much more hands-off and professional. I also have to praise the thoughtful design aesthetics of the VH291RE. It looks incredibly sleek on the counter, and the included splash guard actually works perfectly. When adding dry flour while the machine was running, the guard prevented the dreaded cloud of white dust from covering my kitchen. 4. Honinst 6.5 QT Stand Mixer. This machine was a genuinely delightful surprise during my testing phase. Boasting a massive 6.5 quart bowl and a highly customizable 10-speed control system, it presents itself as a highly capable workhorse. The larger footprint gives it a commanding presence on the counter, and the fit and finish of the materials feel incredibly solid and well put together. To really push the Honinst, I prepared a massive double batch of sticky cinnamon roll dough. This type of dough is notoriously difficult because it's both heavy and incredibly tacky. The Honinst took to the task with remarkable ease. The 10-speed dial allowed for incredibly smooth, incremental transitions in speed, meaning I could start very slow to incorporate the dry ingredients without splashing, and gradually ramp up the power as the gluten began to form, giving me ultimate control over the texture. What truly impressed me about this machine was its exceptional stability. The base is equipped with heavy-duty suction cups that grip the countertop like an absolute vice. Even when the mixer was kneading nearly 4 pounds of heavy dough at a medium-high speed, the machine remained completely stationary. There was absolutely no walking, vibrating, or bouncing. This kind of stability gives you profound peace of mind, knowing you can walk away to prep other ingredients while the machine does the heavy lifting. The attachments provided with the Honinst are notably robust and well-engineered. The dough hook is coated with a non-stick material that effectively prevents the dough from clinging to it, encouraging the dough to slap against the bowl for proper kneading. 3. Cuisinart SM-50BC. The moment you unbox this beautiful 5.5 quart machine, you instantly understand where your money went. The entire body is constructed from die-cast metal, giving it a premium, cool-to-the-touch feel and a substantial weight that screams durability. It's a stunning piece of equipment that looks like it belongs in a professional pastry kitchen. I decided to test the Cuisinart with one of the most punishing doughs known to bakers, a stiff, low-hydration New York-style bagel dough. This kind of dough has destroyed lesser mixers, but the Cuisinart's 500-watt motor didn't even flinch. It delivered a deep, powerful torque that churned through the dense mass of flour and water with mechanical precision. The heavy metal construction ensured that the machine absorbed all the kinetic energy, remaining dead still on the counter throughout the entire grueling process. The engineering behind the mixing action is simply flawless. Cuisinart boasts a 59-point planetary mixing action, and you can absolutely see it at work. The dough hook is angled perfectly to catch the dough, press it against the stainless steel bowl, and fold it over itself repeatedly. It mimics the exact motion of hand kneading, but with relentless, tireless power. The resulting bagel dough is incredibly smooth, taut, and perfectly developed in record time. Another aspect I deeply appreciate is the intuitive, straightforward design of the controls. The heavy-duty dial feels incredibly satisfying to turn, clicking securely into each speed setting. The tilt head mechanism operates with a buttery smoothness, and the bowl locks into the base with a reassuringly solid click. 2. KitchenAid K45SSWH. There's a very good reason why the KitchenAid silhouette is instantly recognizable and deeply beloved by bakers globally. While it may not have the largest bowl capacity at 4.5 quarts or the highest advertised wattage on the box, putting this iconic machine on the test bench reminded me exactly why it remains a gold standard in the industry. The secret to the KitchenAid's legendary bread kneading prowess lies in its direct drive transmission. Unlike many competitors that use belts, the motor in the KitchenAid is connected directly to the gears. This means that every single ounce of power generated by the motor is transferred straight into the dough hook as pure, unadulterated torque. When I tested it with a rich, egg-heavy hollow dough, the mixer maintained a perfectly steady, rhythmic churning, regardless of how stiff the dough became. The clearance between the bowl and the dough hook on the KitchenAid is calibrated to absolute perfection right out of the factory. As it kneaded the hollow dough, it picked up every microscopic speck of flour from the bottom and sides, incorporating massive amounts of ingredients effortlessly. The dough was worked so efficiently that the gluten structure formed rapidly, resulting in a perfectly supple, elastic ball of dough that baked up into a spectacularly airy loaf. Beyond its mechanical superiority, the build quality is virtually indestructible. Made of solid zinc, the KitchenAid Classic is incredibly heavy and dense. It powers through the toughest kneading tasks with a quiet, confident hum, never shaking, rattling, or walking. It feels less like an appliance and more like a generational heirloom. 1. ZACME ZM-KM76A05. I am not exaggerating when I say this machine completely redefined what I thought a home-accessible stand mixer could achieve. This is not just a kitchen appliance. It is a commercial-grade, heavy-duty beast ingeniously disguised to fit under your kitchen cabinets. From the moment I turned it on, I knew the other mixers didn't stand a chance. The most mind-blowing feature of the ZACME is its incredibly advanced DC motor. While AC motors and standard mixers are loud and prone to heating up, this DC motor delivers staggering, relentless torque while running incredibly quietly. You can literally whisper next to it while it kneads. I threw my absolute heaviest, largest batch of rustic sourdough at it, enough dough to bake 4 large boules, and the ZACME folded and stretched it with a terrifying, effortless ease. Every single component on this machine screams elite quality. The attachments, including the heavy spiral dough hook, are made of solid, high-grade stainless steel. They are incredibly heavy, 100% dishwasher safe, and engineered for absolute perfection. Because it uses a true spiral hook rather than a C-shaped hook, it pushes the dough down into the bottom of the bowl, completely eliminating the issue of dough creeping up the attachment. The efficiency of the gluten development is unmatched by anything else I tested. It also features smart digital controls with a built-in timer, which is an absolute game changer for bread bakers. You can set the exact kneading time required for your recipe, walk away to grab a coffee, and the machine will automatically shut off when the perfect texture is achieved.